And it won't stop barking. It won't stop barking. When is this dog going to stop barking? It's been like this for 2 hours. Well, let's go anyway. And sorry if there are barks in the background, but obviously it's not gonna stop. Friends, welcome once again. Today we will have 3 stories that are related to each other since they were experienced by one person. And this makes the whole thing even more interesting. I would like to know what you think about it when you finish listening, and of course, if you have ever experienced something similar. As you know, you help me a lot by sharing this video wherever you can, and the bar, and as many times as you want. This really helps new people find the channel and discover all the content we're creating. You can send me your experience to the WhatsApp number that's showing on the screen right now. The number or length of your voice messages doesn't matter. You can add photos, videos, or any materials you think are necessary to make your story as complete as possible. Then I'll review all this material, and if I have any questions, I'll contact you. Friends, I won't keep you any longer. And we'll start right now with these 3 paranormal stories. Enjoy them. I'm from the province of Chaco, more specifically from San Bernardo. It's a very small town in the countryside, located about 230 kilometers from Resistencia, the capital. My name is Emmanuel, and I want to tell you in the next few minutes about some of the experiences I had traveling the roads of my province. I want to clarify that many times people have told me different stories, but you always have that doubt about whether they're real or not. Because I think that always, or at least most of the time, we need to see to believe. It's something natural in human beings. The first story was in the year 2019. I was studying to become a primary school teacher in La Clotilde, a nearby town just 18 kilometers from my home. And the most convenient way to get to this place, even though there are alternative rural roads everywhere, is by taking National Route 95. And I traveled this route countless times, where nothing ever happened to me, until that one time, of course, when something left me frozen. At that time, in the middle of winter, we had classes from 6 in the evening until 11 at night. I rode my motorcycle as always, so I traveled this road every day, both going and coming back.
This happened to me one winter night, right in the middle of winter. It was very cold in this area. I don't know if you know about it. In this area, the cold is pretty harsh, pretty heavy because of the frost, and there are hardly any woods left to hold back the cold. This happened to me coming from that town. Cardinal South. I was traveling from Cardinal North to Cardinal South on National Route 95.
I regret to this day not remembering the exact kilometer where it happened. But the night, the cold, and of course the monotony of traveling every day make you drive almost automatically. The thing is, like I told you, I was heading back home, and in the distance, I think I see something on the side of the road, almost right next to the asphalt. And there are a few things to keep in mind here that I want to clarify. I wasn't alone on the motorcycle. I was actually giving a ride to a friend who lived in San Bernardo. And since her taxi had let her down, I offered to give her a ride without any problem. Going back to the story, it was really cold. I thought I saw something in the distance, and as we got closer, it became much clearer than it looked before. It was a woman who was simply walking along the side of the road, going in the same direction as me, but with a particular detail. Her appearance was blurry, as if a mist was surrounding her. It was so strange that I can't describe it exactly as I saw it. She was dressed in some kind of little dress or a thin shirt and a skirt. It was really impossible to see in detail, but it was more than clear that it wasn't something normal. First of all, it was freezing cold like I told you, and on top of that she was walking in the middle of the countryside, where there was nothing, not even a light. And finally, that mist around her was very strange. That was what scared me the most and why I decided to speed up, switch to the opposite lane and get away before passing by her. When I passed her, I checked the rear view mirror and was shocked to see that despite no streetlights in the area, this woman, or whatever it was still visible. And not only that, she was following me at an incredible speed, and I don't know if it was just my fear or if it really happened. But the motorcycle didn't accelerate. It wasn't moving forward as usual. But finally and luckily we got away as fast as possible, and my whole body was shaking. I swear on my life. We continued our journey, and when we arrived in San Bernardo a few minutes later, it was my companion who asked me with a look of total panic what had happened on the road, what was it that we had seen. And I think this is where the story becomes more significant, since there were two of us who saw the same thing. I was honest and told her the same thing. What I just told you matched perfectly with what she had also seen, but obviously neither of us knew how to explain it. Basically, you don't really understand, or rather you can't quickly process a situation like that. What she hadn't seen, and I didn't tell her either, was what happened immediately after we passed it, which gave me the feeling that this thing that was happening had come right at us. Not even about it, the subject. It was that days later, talking about this same thing with other people, they told me that I wasn't the only one and that it happened to many others. This woman shows up when you least expect it and nobody knows why or even who she was. It's something very sad, but the truth is that we weren't the only ones who saw her, and that made me feel at ease. In 2020, something very strange happened. This is my second story. And it was when I was coming back home, also from La Clotilde, after seeing my girlfriend, who I'm still with to this day.
But that pandemic year was very special because you didn't see people on the streets at night, even less on the highway. And what happened to me was really impressive. When I came back, it was a hot day. It was really hot here in the province of Chaco. And when I came back, it was late afternoon from La Clotilde. And on the highway, there were a lot of checkpoints at that time, a lot of checkpoints because of the pandemic, vehicle checkpoints.
Precisely at one of these checkpoints where they were really strict and it was pretty hard to get through without being stopped. So, to avoid it, I took an alternative rural road, which even though it was longer and slower, I could go calmly and without any problems. But I never imagined what was about to happen to me. I'm letting everyone know that was the first and only time I ever took, at least myself, this road. It was getting dark, but visibility was still good as I rode down the road without any issues. And at one point, right before turning left, heading towards San Bernardo, I saw something strange again. It was a spirit. Sorry to call it that, but honestly I wouldn't know what else to call it. It seemed by its shape to be a person, most likely a woman. And immediately I thought about what had happened to me a year earlier on the road, but the difference this time was that this apparition, this spirit, wasn't clear. It didn't have that mist. It was completely dark to the point where you couldn't make out any features. It was like a kind of shadow. Let me remind you, I was on a dirt road in the countryside. It was still daylight and there was absolutely nothing there. It was one of the worst moments of my life because even though it didn't do anything to me, I felt completely vulnerable. I imagine that anyone in a situation like that would feel the same way.
But the chill that ran through me, I can't even describe it in words. The chill that went through my body. That time I really felt afraid, truly afraid. It was something shocking, something that, and not just me, but many people who went down that path. He says they saw her. I have co-workers, most of whom travel by motorcycle, and they say they saw her. Also in that area, previously, many years ago, during colonial times, that was all a cemetery in a cemetery. If you go into the woods and look around, you can see some graves that are still there. Old graves are there.
I don't have an explanation for this, but many people believe that the specter is surely the soul of someone who is buried there. Or, why not, something to protect what's left. What made me feel more at ease was, just like in the previous case, not being the only one to see this. Otherwise, there could be doubt, even for me, since it was so unbelievable. My third and last experience was sometime before, in 2009 when I was 16 years old. And I was coming back from fishing at a place near Route 6 on the way to Villa Berthe. That time I had gone alone by bicycle, none of my friends could come with me, and after a few hours I started heading back home. Night was approaching, so I wanted to reach the highway before dark, since I didn't have far left to get home. The thing was that while I was riding along this gravel road, I saw a pretty bright white light to my left. It appeared to be a spotlight or a strong light coming from a nearby small house, but at the same time it was very strange because it even moved and wouldn't let me see clearly. So I figured maybe it was just a person with a really powerful flashlight, that's all. Meanwhile, I kept pedaling without any problems. I didn't have much time to waste because the sun, like I told you, was almost gone, and there was very little light. And now I want you to pay close attention because what happened next was really terrifying. I don't know if it was the bad light or something else, you'll tell me later, but I'm going to tell everything exactly as it happened. After a few seconds of looking straight ahead and not looking to my side, I look again, and I practically fall off my bike. When I realized that light was skirting the fence, just a few meters from me, it was as if it was accompanying me. It was a white ball, about the size of a soccer ball, just to give you a reference. I sped up because I got scared, but it was useless. This light sped up with me even faster. It left the path and got right in the middle, exactly where I was going. Now it was in my way.
And the light dazzled me. It dazzled me. It dazzled me. And it made me fall off the bike. I fall off the bike. I see that I can't see ahead because it was such a glare. I thought that at that moment I said, a truck is coming and it's going to hit me. This is where my story ends. I don't get up, and that light started to dim a little. It wasn't reflecting so much. It wasn't dazzling so much. When I get up and I see, no kidding, the light was floating in front of me. What I'm saying might sound crazy, right? But it could be really strange. You're going to say, no, this guy is lying, right? No kidding. The light was floating in front of me. What was that light? I don't know. To this day, I can't explain what it was. A lot of people say those orbs, yeah, they call them orbs, are souls, they're spirits. But honestly, I don't know what it really was. It was floating in front of me.
I'm not sure how much time passed, but the ball went back into the woods. Very slowly, it moved away until it reached that little abandoned house I had seen at the beginning, and there it stayed still until it went out.
People who ask me, some of them don't believe it, some do, but I do. If anyone has experienced something similar, I would like them to comment to tell me something, because it was something impressive.
Thank you very much for making it to the end. Of these 3 stories, it seems like the first 2 are related to something very similar. Meanwhile, the last one refers to something else, possibly the evil light, or as the main character calls it, something else. It would be ideal for you to give your own opinion about it. I'm signing off, see you in a few days, and now I send a big hug to all of you. And he keeps barking, he doesn't stop, he doesn't stop. I think it was barking, not background music.